Death, as it turns out, can be a surprisingly effective career move, especially when you're not actually dead. The Vraxian High Command's urgent communique leapt across 17 quantum relays before finally reaching the Supreme Overlord. Its contents, news that would have had champagne corks flying in human space if anyone there had actually known. Commander Reeves, the infamous infiltration specialist, was dead. Her body had been discovered in Laboratory Complex Theta 9, deep within the most secure Vraxian military installation in the quadrant. The Vraxians, those chitin-covered traditionalists with their absurd ceremonial antennae, designed to make them look taller, practically stumbled over each other delivering the news. You could almost feel sorry for them. Almost. They believed they'd landed a catastrophic blow to human intelligence operations. But for those just tuning in to this little interstellar drama, here's the setup. Humanity was still the new kid on the galactic playground. Barely a century into faster-than-light travel, they had arrived late to a party where the hegemony had long since claimed all the best seats. The Vraxians, self-appointed galactic hall monitors and proud architects of a 17-tier caste system, weren't impressed. With their grown-not-built starships and bioorganic tech, they considered themselves the final word in evolution. Humanity's request for a seat at the table had been met with a 73-page diplomatic statement that boiled down to, "How adorable. Now run along." What the Vraxians, and frankly the entire hegemony, failed to anticipate was how downright annoying humans could be when ignored. Which brings us back to Theta 9, a dead human operative, and a gloating alien bureaucracy. The Vraxians were already drafting smug press statements. They even planned a ceremonial return of the body. Very thoughtful. Too bad no one had confirmed whether Commander Reeves was actually finished with her mission, or whether she was, dead. They'd always been terrible at checking pulses. 48 hours earlier, Reeves had been in a briefing room aboard the UNSS Audacity, resisting the urge to roll her eyes while Admiral Thornton delivered his fifth warning. "If you're caught, they'll dissect you, possibly while still alive." "Which is why I won't get caught," Reeves replied, sipping her synthetic coffee. "Bold," chimed in Dr. Kavanaugh, architect of the marvel swimming through her bloodstream. "The plan? Infiltrate the most secure Vraxian facility in the sector, steal their latest bioweapon research, fake her death, and let the enemy themselves carry her body into their core lab." The Lazarus Protocol, as it was codenamed, wasn't resurrection. More like very convincing medical theater. Nanites would shut down her vitals, slow her metabolism, and trick even the most advanced scans into declaring her dead. Meanwhile, her body would secretly remain alive. Barely. What Kavanaugh hadn't emphasized was how much dying hurt, even when you didn't actually die. Reeves had bypassed 14 layers of security, downloaded 2 terabytes of classified bioweapon data, and was preparing for extraction when alarms sounded. Cornered by 6 elite Vraxian guards, she took a plasma bolt to the chest and collapsed, activating her Lazarus Protocol mid-fall. Her last thought? "I hope this looks real." Enough, it did. The Vraxians were ecstatic. They took holographic souvenirs. One suggested mounting her head on a wall. Cooler heads prevailed. She was far too valuable for that. Reeves, still very much alive, was packed into a cryopod and shipped to their prime research center. From there, the real work began. Her nanites mapped the lab, infiltrated computer systems, recorded genetic signatures, and even hijacked the Vraxians' semi-organic tech. Nobody, not Thornton, not Kavanaugh, knew Reeves had modified the nanites herself. Passive data collection, not her style. On day 3 of her autopsy, Director Krakex made a mistake. Curious about odd metallic particulates in her blood, he fed a sample into the facility's central bioscanner, wired directly to the mainframe. The nanites seized the opportunity, executing her custom subroutines. They began rewriting systems, not just observing them. Soon after, Vraxian assistant Zexmore returned at night, eyes glazed, movements twitchy. Under full nanite control, he injected a regenerative compound into Reeves's artery. She now had her first puppet. By dawn, 4 more staff had joined her growing network. The nanites, carried through air vents, quietly spread their influence. Most infected personnel were only nudged, their actions subtly guided. But 12 were hers, entirely. 5 days in, the lab's environmental controls went haywire. Security records began to vanish. Director Krakex, preparing for a briefing with the Supreme Overlord, didn't notice his staff's unnatural stiffness, or the growing metallic sheen in their compound eyes. Then, at precisely 14:37 local time, alarms blared, 17 of them in different sectors. A coordinated false alarm. Commander Reeves opened her eyes. System reboot complete, she rasped. Rising from the slab, she assessed herself. 67% operational. Good enough. Her 12 Vraxian puppets entered. Status report, she commanded. The lead responded. Facility is in disarray. Communications fragmented, weaponry secured. She suited up in a customized Vraxian exo armor and turned to greet Director Krakex as he barged in with 4 guards. His eyes widened in horror. What is the meaning of 12 weapons trained on him? Director Krakex, she said sweetly. Thanks for the thorough examination, though I believe you misunderstood human biology. His mandibles clicked in panic. You were dead. Common mistake. Reeves shrugged. We have a saying, reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. She stepped forward, nanite-infused fingers reaching for his face. Let me demonstrate another saying. What doesn't kill me makes you very, very sorry. Then the lights dimmed, and the facility fell silent. Director Crocs became puppet number 13. The resurrection was complete. The hunter had become the hunted. The specimen now held the scalpel, and a lone human operative had just seized control of the most secure Vraxian facility in the sector. Not bad for someone who'd been legally dead less than an hour. 6 hours post-resurrection, Commander Reeves lounged in Director Krathek's office, feet kicked up on his obsessively organized desk, casually reviewing facility schematics via his own neural interface. The irony wasn't lost on her. The Vraxians' prideful neurotech designed to assert dominance had become their Achilles heel. Magnificent design, she murmured, scrolling through weapon specs with a flick of her nanite-enhanced fingers. Shame about the security protocols. The nanite network had spread. 23 fully controlled Vraxians, puppets, operated under her will, each selected for their strategic value. Another 100 floated through the facility, with partial infections, just enough to confuse, delay, misroute, and misinform. The plan was unfolding beautifully, but then came the complication. Commander, said Krex, formerly the facility's head of security. Fleet Commander Vraula has arrived. He's requesting an update on the human specimen. His shuttle seeks docking clearance. Reeves straightened. Fleet Commander Vraula was definitely not in the plan. A high-ranking officer with direct access to the Supreme Overlord posed risks she hadn't calculated for. How long until arrival? She asked. 17 minutes. Protocol required the facility director, now her puppet, to greet a fleet commander personally. Using Krex as a proxy was dangerous. While fully infected, subtle anomalies in his behavior might tip off a trained observer. Then the director will greet him, Reeves decided. But minimize direct engagement. Schedule an emergency containment drill in Section 7 and double nanite dispersal through the vents. Krex moved smoothly to comply, his motion improving as Reeves focused. Controlling multiple puppets at once pushed both her concentration and the nanite system to its limits. Dr. Kavanaugh had warned her. Beyond 25 full integrations, control would degrade. When Vraula arrived, punctual as expected, Director Krek met him with practiced deference, his every gesture choreographed by Reeves 2 rooms away. The human specimen has yielded remarkable insights, Krek intoned in perfect Vraxian syntax. I'm not interested in scientific minutiae, Vraula snapped. I need confirmation. The infiltrator is dead. There are concerns. Reeves, watching through Krek's compound eyes, studied Vraula carefully. His coropas bore the insignia of the Royal Guard, elite warriors with advanced shielding against neural tampering. Infecting him would be difficult, risky. Of course, Fleet Commander, Krek gestured, if you'll follow me to the lab. A containment drill is underway, standard post-biological protocol. Alarms blared. Evacuation began. In the chaos, 2 puppet guards accidentally brushed against Vrala's escort, delivering concentrated nanite payloads. As they neared the lab, Vrala paused. "Something's wrong here, Director," he said, antenna twitching. Before Krek could respond, a comm alert sounded. "Fleet Commander, we're detecting anomalous energy signatures, possible electronic warfare." Reeves cursed silently. Vrala was quicker than she'd expected. "Time for Plan B," she said aloud. "Security. Breach in Sector 12, a puppet shouted. The facility went into lockdown, separating Vrala from half his guards. The cat-and-mouse game began, though even Reeves wasn't sure who was which. In 6 hours, Vrala had fortified a command post, cut off parts of the network, and begun security sweeps. Her window was closing. "It's time for extraction," she told her original 13. "We've gathered enough. Staying risks everything." "But the hangars and comms are locked," said Zev Roll, former chief engineer. "Then we'll be unorthodox," Reeves replied, eyes on the schematic. "Prepare the package and get me access to auxiliary comms." The package was a data core, Varaxian fleet deployments, genetic templates for their bioorganic ships, and terabytes of military intel. If it reached Earth, it would change humanity's galactic standing forever. Her puppets navigated the blind spots she'd mapped, zones where surveillance could be spoofed. Their destination? Hangar Bay 3, where a scout ship waited. Small, fast, and lightly crewed. Perfect. But Reeves had one last role to play. She entered Vrala's command post openly, wearing Director Krek's credentials but making no attempt to hide her humanity. "Weapons rose, Fleet Commander," she said calmly. "I believe we have a communication issue." His antenna stiffened. You're supposed to be dead." "I get that a lot." Reeves smiled. "I'm here to negotiate." "You'll be dissected," he growled. "This is the most secure. Unless," she cut in, "you'd prefer I don't activate the quantum destabilizer I planted in your power core." A lie, but an effective one. Vraxians feared quantum disruptions, like humans feared nuclear fallout. As he hesitated, the auxiliary comms flared to life. A high-level message appeared across all screens. "Potential biocontamination detected. Quarantine in effect. No pursuit. Perfectly forged. Courtesy of Krek's unrestricted access." "You're bluffing," Vrala hissed, though his antenna twitched. "Maybe," Reeves said. "Want to bet your species on it?" As she spoke, her puppets completed launch prep. The genius wasn't just escape, it was making pursuit impossible. Between the fake lockdown and the fear of quantum destabilization, Vraxian command was paralyzed. "You'll be found out," Vrala warned. "Eventually," she agreed, backing away. "But I'll be gone by then." The lights cut. 3 seconds of total darkness. When backups came on, she was gone. A blinking device sat on Vrala's console. Not a detonator, just a data pad. But he didn't know that. The scout vessel burst from the hangar, 3 security cruisers in pursuit, until the quarantine order flashed across their systems. They stopped cold. In the captain's chair, Reeves monitored every system through her puppet crew's eyes. "Jump point in range," said the navigator, voice flat. "Execute," Reeves ordered. Stars became streaks. By the time Vrala uncovered the truth, she'd be back in human space.